Wavering is not having a bad thought. Wavering is not having a bad emotion. Wavering is not having memories of something horrible. Wavering is not seeing something bad in the 3D. Wavering is not remembering what the SP said. Wavering is not remembering how shitty it felt to not have money to pay something. That is not wavering. But I will tell you what wavering is. Wavering is when you grab this 3D, this thought, this emotion by the hand, and you're like, okay, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Let's go ahead and entertain why you think you have the right to stay here. It's kind of like Alice in Wonderland, right? The white rabbit represents your old identity. Why would you follow it down the rabbit hole? Why would you do that? Why would you go there when you know what lies there? Because your old identity is only going to present you with things that you've already seen, with things that you already have experienced, right? That's why we experience things twice, guys, all the time. First in your mind and then on the physical plane. So if you've already experienced this before, why would you follow it? And this is why when people lock in and then they see the white rabbit, right, representing the thoughts or the old identity, they think like, oh, I'm wavering. No, you're not wavering. You're just experiencing a very human thing. The human who identifies itself and relates to continuity and cohesiveness through linear time, this human of yours remembers the past. It remembers and identifies itself with, oh, I have a past. And because I'm feeling this way, this may determine my future. Based on what I've seen, this determines what's possible for me. You must understand that is just the human function. And it's normal for you to go through this once you've decided on a new identity. Otherwise, you wouldn't be going through this to begin with. You wouldn't see the contrast had you not decided on a new identity. Wavering is when you actually entertain it. So what that may look like is, let's say you're manifesting weight loss, okay? Or an SP or money. And the thought comes into, oh, losing weight is hard for us. Oh, but remember the SP told you they didn't love you. Oh, but money's hard to make. And you see and hear those thoughts. You may see a reflection of them in the 3D, or you may hear them in your mind through past experiences, memories, emotions, and such. But you say, yeah, that's true. We've always had a problem with our weight. Yeah, that's true. Like, we're broke bitches. Money doesn't run in the family. We were just destined to be poor. Oh, that's right. My SP is such a jerk. She said this to me, and oh, I remember when he did that. And you go along with that narrative. That is you wavering. But if you just acknowledge, okay, this is a very human function of mine. This is a very human way to feel. And yes, I'm aware of these things, but I remember myself as source. I understand what that means. And that means this doesn't have to be me anymore. I go back to my decision of what it is that I want. And as a matter of fact, because I decided I'm this identity now, the one who's with the SP, I have the money, I've lost the weight, then technically what this identity is presenting to me doesn't even make sense. It's irrelevant. It doesn't add up because the solution is within my desire. As a matter of fact, within my desire, these problems don't even exist. Locking in doesn't mean you're not going to feel the human part of you. You are in the human vessel. You're going to feel it. But it's just learning how to navigate your human while always knowing or going back to knowing or remembering that you're source. That is not wavering, guys. That is just a natural function of your human character. Wavering is the minute you give in to the negativity, the minute you make these things real for you, that is the minute that you waver. And because you can only be in acceptance of one identity at a time is why sometimes you delay your blessings, you delay the materialization of your desires, is because the mind, your I amness, can only be in one place in the now moment, because the now moment is all that exists. And so anytime you adopt a negative identity, your I amness has to go in with that identity. And if you've been that identity for a long time, it's why you will see in your 3D plane those bad things materialize so much faster, because there's no resistance within them, right? And when I say resistance, guys, I just mean you're familiar more with the negative narrative than the positive. That's all resistance is. It's just the habitual conditioning of leaning towards the negative. That's it. It's like that little tug, that temptation to go back to what's familiar once you've decided to choose something better for you. And so when you consistently keep going back to your favorable identity, through that consistency, it will then become your norm on a day-to-day basis. And through the consistency of reminding yourself that you're source, that you're the only thinker, that you're the only authority in your life, you remind yourself like, oh, I made this decision and that's who I decided to be. That's who I am. Your consistency shouldn't rely on a 3D inconvenience, on the inconvenience of perhaps a thought or an emotion. Like, you're locked in. You already decided who you are. You already remember who you are. And that's all there is to it. The wavering is the minute you allow yourself to be broken down by the discomfort of the old you, of the old identity. Because guys, you have to be okay with putting yourself through the discomfort of what it is to shift identities. And the very contrast should be your first indicator that you're actually doing this correct. The discomfort, the opposition that you experience should be the biggest indicator that, oh my goodness, I really am changing. I really am shifting. Otherwise, I wouldn't feel this uncomfortable. But you have to be able, guys, to manage yourself. And this is why understanding your human function and understanding yourself as source is so important, because it will help you navigate a lot better. With that said, guys, I hope this helped you out. I know a lot of you guys have sent me DMs and comments that I'm still responding to. I'm going to make video responses for a few of them. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a great night.